So we are going to review Outsiders #1 from Collin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig, Robert Crary on art here. Now, we are coming at this from two different perspectives, Doc. I've never read Planetary. I do feel shame, and I do feel shame right here, right now. I'll probably get on that, but I haven't read it yet. You are the world's biggest Warren Ellis fan. You love Planetary, and we know this Outsiders storyline incorporates that, or at least tries to. What did you think about overall thoughts on this?
It was fucking bad. It missed the entire spirit of what Planetary was. Planetary was a legitimate love letter to all of the different genres of 20th century fiction. Like, I don't think these people know how to love a story and homage it and pay tribute to it. All they know how to do is, hey, remember that thing you liked 20 years ago? And do that over and over and over for 22 pages.
So I think it's interesting that that's a perspective you come from, that they missed the entire point of Planetary to begin with. Like I said, I haven't read Planetary, but I'm pretty let down by this comic book. And it has to start with the bad dialogue. This comic book is just exposition via dialogue. That is what this comic book is. Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig, quite frankly, do not human well. They do not know how to create dialogue that feels like it's coming from real human beings that you want to invest in. And I think it ruins the entire thing. And the art absolutely did not help. So let's get into the art. First up, it is Robert Crary. It's hard to say, like, all the layouts in this comic book are exceptionally boring. Anytime there's close-ups on faces, they don't look human. There's lines where lines shouldn't be, even on the lady that they want you to think is older. It's a cavalcade of mistakes when it comes to the art on this book. And it's actually hard to quantify everything that's actually wrong with it.
Every other page just felt like generic comic book drawn by generic comic book artist B, which is basically what I feel like this artist is.
I do feel bad for the artist because it's almost all exposition, as I said, other than, I believe, one page where Batwoman kicks somebody's ass. So he's not got a lot of work with as far as action or kinetic feel to the story, but I do feel like the art, it had to be better than this.
That one page, it was trying to draw a parallel where Chiquita Wagner fucking takes out this entire squad of goons. That's what it's supposed to be, except for Batwoman does it. See, here's the thing. Chiquita is probably on par with somebody like at least Captain America, almost like a toned down She-Hulk. Batwoman is nothing like that. That's the role that she's fitting in this. It's fucking stupid.
Mostly the story is about Kate Kane, Batwoman, and Luke Fox. Last time I knew he was Batwing. But apparently she's been off the grid in some country I've never heard of. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s. You're a hard woman to find.
Yeah.
It's got all the generic platitudes. And maybe that was his homaging, great 80s cinema. What your description is what Warren Ellis probably has done in the past. But it's basically, my family has all of Bruce Wayne's money now, and we're going to get together and find strange artifacts across the DC Comics universe. But we're not going to be heroes doing it. Like, we're not going to be superheroes anymore.
The whole point of Planetary was archaeologists of the unknown, where they dig up the weird stuff. You don't get the same thing in this. They just seem to want to, hey, we're going to find some weird stuff and then talk to it. And they don't even make an attempt to explain why they are trying to just catalog weird stuff on the planet. The justification is to do it different than Batman.
Yeah, so that's the foundation of the book. They do bring in a third member, and this is a member that was in the former Planetary series from Warren Ellis. But it's a little bit different version of Drummer here, Doc. But the Drummer is a weird character that can tap their drum on stuff and know kind of what it represents or maybe what its powers are.
I mean, the concept of the Drummer, they didn't depart too much from, but the personality is completely different. The gender is completely different. The age is completely different. Now, whether or not those end up being important aspects to change later, I don't know. But in this, it's like they're just in awe of her weirdness. And that is going to, again, completely undermine the character dynamics. Suddenly, Drummer is the most capable and knowledgeable one there for everything. They basically put all of Elijah Snow's knowledge and understanding and Drummer's powers into one character.
So the thing I think is the worst thing about this, and like I said, I'm coming this from a different perspective than you, is the dialogue itself. I think it's essentially terrible across the board. Every time they have any type of dialogue, it tries to undermine and undercut even the idea of superheroes, that they're fucking lame, they're stupid, and they're not necessary. This is Kate Kane responding to the reveal that Lucius Fox is behind this. Lucius, you should have been the one to meet me. We would have gotten to a yes much faster. I'm afraid I've never been much for field work, but I assure you we'll be face to face soon enough. Just how big is this team? We're not a team, Kate. This isn't some superhero bullshit around. Outsiders is an organization with offices across the globe and a single mobile leadership committee to meet the unknown head on. First me, second you, dad's the third. Let's not forget who Lucius Fox really is here when she does the whole, if I would have known it was you, I would have been all over this. It's like, this is the guy that stole $1 billion from Batman. Are you friends with him or not?
This would have been better if she would have found out that the fourth man was Lucius Fox and it basically drove her up the fucking wall and she didn't want to be there anymore. That would have actually created a little bit of tension and told a better story.
Well, they shouldn't be doing the book because they can't even write human dialogue, Doc.
No, they really can't.
And they clearly don't even like superheroes.
No, they don't like superheroes now. That is an aspect of Planetary that they kept around. In Planetary, Elijah Snow legitimately hated superheroes.
But this isn't Elijah Snow. This is Luke Fox, fucking Batwing. This is Kate Kane, Batwoman, members of the Bat family that have been in the DC Comics universe for a few decades now.
Yeah, and it made sense for Elijah and Chiquita and Drummer over in Planetary because they weren't existing fucking characters. They were original characters for the series. So it made sense.
What did they put, like a Kate Kane skin suit on the characters from Planetary? Did they just decide to remove the skin of Luke Fox and put it on another fucking character?
That's really what it comes down to. This is fanfic Planetary.
Maybe, Doc, maybe what it comes down to is Planetary shouldn't be in the DC Comics universe.
That was my initial thought. The minute I saw the cover for this, I'm like, this doesn't make sense in the DC Comics universe. Unless the entire series is about finding all of the different Wildstorm artifacts that have somehow fallen into the DC universe.
And sending them back?
And sending them back and creating a new universe.
So we get to the ship, and I think there's some weird aliens there, but there's also some people in there. And I'm not really sure what was happening to them. As someone that read Planetary, maybe you have a better idea of what was going on that ship.
There were no aliens there. It's the AI of the carrier. The carrier is a sentient AI powered by a caged baby universe. It felt that they were invaders and it was defending itself. And all of the different exploration parties that they had sent in, it was dragging them down to the engine room, except for it wasn't really the engine room because there was no cage baby universe there, to just wrap them in a daisy chain around the engine for reasons that were never made clear, except for the fact that the carrier was lonely. It's basically trying to tell us that everything that happened in the Authority actually happened, but now the Authority is dead. All of this stuff was just member berries because none of the rest of it actually felt like Wildstorm.
But we did see a book that said Planetaries, and that's the big deal, right?
Yeah, the big deal here is at the end, Drummer finds basically a duffel bag that had a planetary guide. And the planetary guides were the ones used by Elijah and the Planetary Organization. The guide that he used to catalog his weird shit that he found, when he found it, how it connected, if it connected to any other weird shit, to keep track of everything. And they found a planetary guide, which, okay, they already said they were creating their own, so who cares?
I don't know. I'm glad you explained all that to me, Doc, because by the time I got to about the last third of the book, I was so disinterested and bored and spiteful of the dialogue itself that I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
The only reason I was paying attention is at that point, I was just looking for Easter eggs.
I was looking for an exit side.
I can completely understand because it's a poor homage to a vastly superior title with vastly superior talent, whereas everything here is so absurdly cliched. You know, even the hatred of superheroes was more of a novelty back when Ellis did it in the late 90s and early 2000s. Now it's just par for the course. We already know that they hate superheroes. They don't even need to be on the title for me to know that they hate superheroes, because it's very clear and very evident in every other piece of work that they do how much they hate superheroes.
This is my big question coming out of Outsiders #1. How do Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig keep getting work? I don't get it. They've never had a hit series. They've never done anything that didn't actually harm the characters or universe that they were playing with. Yet they continuously get chances, but they can't write dialogue. They don't human very well. I don't think they know any of the fucking characters, and they've never written a competent comic book issue, let alone comic book story, let alone comic book run, and their entire careers together. Yet they continuously get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity and drop the ball spectacularly every fucking time, and I'll never get it.
I won't either, but I'm betting that they are easy to work with and they answer the phone quickly. That's probably the reason why they keep getting work. Whether or not I feel like that they took the very, very, very absurdly safe way here, because even homaging Warren Ellis, while he's still persona non grata in the comic book industry, was a little bit of a risk. And they did it in the safest way humanly possible for a modern comic book creator, in order so that they don't get canceled as, well, you must be an Ellis apologist.
I mentioned these guys absolutely suck at writing comic books. I was not joking, and I have the proof in the pudding. In fact, they just had a Captain America run that ended in just 18 issues. How do you fucking pull that one off? Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig were able to pull that bad boy off, and I talked about it right here. I was right all along. These guys are absolute hacks, and they shouldn't be touching any major characters ever again, but they keep getting the chances. I do not get it. There's also a link in the video description.